I never used to believe in the idea that a place could want something. That it could watch you. That it could remember. But I do now. Let me take you back to October 2023, when everything began. I had just moved into an old brownstone in Chicago. The building was carved up into 6 apartments. Mine was 3B. Top floor, decent rent, creaky floors, and weird water pressure. But hey, I was broke and desperate, so I took it. The landlord, an elderly guy named Mr. Redmond, had a voice like gravel and always wore dark sunglasses, even indoors. He gave me the keys, warned me that the place was a little noisy sometimes, then shuffled back to his ancient Buick without another word. No big deal. Old buildings groan and moan. I didn't think anything of it. Not at first. Week 1. I heard movement almost every night, but only from the apartment below mine, 2B. I figured the tenant was just a night owl. I'm a light sleeper, so I noticed things, the scraping of furniture, heavy footsteps, and this weird noise, like something being dragged across the floor. Not fast, not hurried. Slow. The weird part? 2B was supposed to be vacant. I remembered that because when I first heard the place, I asked Redmond who lived below. He said nobody had rented 2B since last winter. Pipes burst in there or something. It was sealed up. By week 2, I was sure someone was in there. And not just someone. Something wrong. Week 2. The noises got worse. I started hearing whispering through the floorboards. Not in any language I recognized. I recorded it one night on my phone. When I played it back, all I heard was static, until minute 4. There was a voice, my voice, screaming my own name. Over and over. I hadn't screamed. Not once. I tried calling Redmond, but he wouldn't answer. So I knocked on the door of 2B. No answer. Of course. But the door, it was slightly ajar. The hallway lights flickered above me. I swear I felt cold air spilling out from the crack in the door. Against all good judgment, I pushed it open. 2B was pitch black. And not the kind of darkness you get when lights are off. It was like the light refused to exist there. The air was thick, soupy. It smelled like earth, wet dirt and mold, and something dead. There was furniture inside, covered in sheets. And then I saw footprints. Bare. Muddy. Leading from the center of the room toward the back wall, and then stopping. No side door, no window. Just a wall. Like whoever made them had walked into the wall and vanished. I turned around. The door had closed itself. Locked. I panicked. Fumbled in the dark. My phone light barely cut through the air, but I managed to find the doorknob and wrench it open. As I slammed the door shut behind me, I swear I heard breathing from inside. Deep, rattling, wet breathing. Week 3. Things began to unravel. Objects in my apartment moved when I wasn't looking. My kitchen knives were all sticking into the wall one morning. My bathroom mirror fogged up by itself and messages would appear, things like, "Don't look at the floor," or, "She's in the walls." The smell started to seep up into my apartment. That same muddy, decayed stink. I couldn't eat. Could barely sleep. Every night I'd wake up at exactly 3:12 a.m. to the sound of faint scratching. It came from under my bed, the closet, the vents, but always ended with that dragging sound beneath the floor. Then came the photographs. They weren't mine. They just started appearing. On my kitchen table. Under my pillow. In the fridge. Polaroids of me. Sleeping. Brushing my teeth. Standing by my window. But in every photo, behind me, there was a shape. Pale. Thin. Tall. And always a little closer than the last. The breaking point. One night, the hallway lights went out. Entire building plunged into black. Then the smell. Overwhelming. Like something rotten had been living in the walls and finally burst open. I tried to leave, honest to God I did. But when I opened my front door, the hallway was gone. Just gone. It was like stepping out into a cave. Cold air. dirt floor. And that sound, the dragging. I slammed the door and locked it. Boarded it shut with furniture. Then came the knock. Not loud. Tap. Tap. From inside the walls. I heard whispering through the pipes. A voice, childlike, female, almost sweet. You let me in. I let you out. I don't know how long I sat in the corner, holding a knife, sobbing quietly. But I must have passed out. The end. When I woke up, it was morning. Sunlight poured in. The hallway was back. My front door opened fine. I moved out that day. Didn't pack. Just walked out with my phone and the clothes on my back. I called the building a few months later. Redmond had died. They said 2B was being renovated. But here's the thing, the new tenant? Disappeared 3 weeks in. Gone without a trace. Police searched the place. Found muddy footprints leading into the back wall, and stopping. Just like before. They sealed it off again. But I still have the Polaroids. I keep them in a box, locked away. Sometimes, I hear that voice on stormy nights. From my new apartment. You let me in. I let you out. I haven't looked in my mirror for weeks. Because sometimes, I still see her. And she's getting closer. I was part of something I shouldn't have been. And now I can't stop hearing it breathe. Back in 2021, I worked as a junior research tech at a privately funded genetics lab buried under 2 floors of concrete in southern Utah. No signs outside, no open applications. You either knew someone or you didn't exist. I was hired through a guy I knew from college. I thought I was doing post-grad genome editing work, CRISPR-based experiments, DNA repair modeling, maybe some high-level protein work. It was all under tight NDAs. Military funded. Black budget tier. I didn't ask too many questions. Not at first. My first assignment was on subject E97. They never called it by a name. Just that. E97. We weren't even allowed to look directly at the subject for the first few months. We monitored vitals remotely. Heart rate, muscle mass growth, neuroelectric activity, hormone levels. All of it off the charts. The thing barely slept. When it did, it twitched, violently. Constant cortisol spikes. It was kept in containment room 4, which had 2-foot-thick glass and a chemical incineration fail-safe. I thought it was just another genetically modified animal. Then I saw it. They let us observe it during a scheduled sedation cycle. I was on rotation with 2 others. I'll never forget how cold that room felt, even with all the lab gear on. E97 was humanoid. Barely. Over 7 feet tall. Pale, gray-tinged skin. No eyelids. Black, lidless eyes like ink poured into cracked porcelain. Its ribs were visible under the skin, but they moved. Independently. Like the thing was breathing from multiple places at once. The most disturbing part wasn't the body. It was the face. It looked copied. Like someone had tried to sculpt a human face from memory, but got it slightly wrong. Like it was mimicking something it had seen. Like it wanted to pass as human, but didn't know how. I wasn't supposed to stare that long. When its eyes moved, and locked on me, even sedated, I swear my heart stopped. Over the next few weeks, things got worse. We were told E97 had regenerative abilities. Skin lacerations healed within hours. It could survive full chemical sedation doses designed to stop a bear's heart. It learned patterns. It watched the security cameras. One day, it started mimicking breathing rhythms from the hallway. It would match yours. You'd breathe. It would breathe with you. Not random. Not delayed. Perfectly synced. And sometimes, it would keep breathing after you stopped. One night, during routine vitals tracking, I caught something on the waveform logs. A spike in electrical activity at exactly 3:33 a.m. The same time, every night. When we checked the footage, E97 was standing. Fully awake. Staring into the camera. Smiling. Then came the incident. One of the other techs, Harris, went in for a scheduled biopsy. A simple tissue sample. Sedation was confirmed. Everything was cleared. I was monitoring from the control room. He was in the airlock chamber less than 30 seconds before the audio cut out. What we saw, I still can't describe without shaking. E97 didn't move like a person. It unfolded. Fast. Not fluid. Like watching a dozen limbs uncoil from one point. One moment it was still, the next it was on him. We hit the emergency kill switch. Nothing happened. Not to it. To the lights. They cut out. Total blackout. Static flooded every monitor. Backup generators kicked in 20 seconds later. But by then, Harris was gone. No blood. No body. Just a smear of skin on the glass, like something had peeled him apart. They locked the lab down. Burned the containment chamber. Quarantined us for 6 days. We were told it was a containment breach due to human error. Except E97 was still alive. Still breathing. Still watching. The higher-ups wanted to keep going. Learn from it. Weaponize the regenerative tissue. Turn it into a bioengineered soldier, they said. I resigned the next day. I threatened to go public. They didn't stop me. In fact, they barely acknowledged I was leaving. That should have been the first sign something was very wrong. It's been 2 years. And I know it got out. I hear it sometimes, when I'm alone. The sound of breathing. Matching mine. In perfect sync. I've unplugged everything, the TVs, the monitors, even my microwave. But the sound still comes. In hotel rooms. In the car. In the woods behind my house. Like it followed me. Like it remembers me. The other day, I woke up with deep scratches across my chest. 4 perfect parallel lines like claws. The doctor said it was probably sleepwalking. But I don't sleep anymore. Because last night I heard it. Not through a wall. Not through a device. Right behind me. Breathing. Matching me. Waiting for me to stop. We were 3 nights into a backcountry hike in Washington. Me, my cousin Tyler, and our friend Ben. Deep woods. No signal. Perfect silence. That third night, around 2:30 a.m., I woke up and saw Tyler standing outside the tent. Just barely in view, outlined by moonlight. He was facing the woods, completely still. I figured he was peeing or maybe just stretching. I was too tired to care, so I rolled over and went back to sleep. In the morning, I asked him about it. "What are you talking about?" he said. "I didn't leave the tent." I laughed. Thought he was messing with me. But Ben chimed in and said, "I saw him too. Around 3 a.m. standing by the fire pit." We all went quiet. Because none of us had left the tent. We packed up early and hiked out that day. A week later, I got the film photos back from the trip. One of them showed our tent at night. Taken from the tree line. And in the foreground, barely visible in the shadows, was someone standing there. Tall. Still. Watching us.